football game. I'm at the grocery store. What? I'm at the combination football game and grocery store.
Wait, you're at the football game
What?
and the grocery store?
Nah, I'm at the combination football game and grocery store. Groceries through Instacart, delivered to my door. I don't have to choose between football and the grocery store.
Hey guys, it's Shan. Welcome to the cozy womb. You're not in it, but you're in it. The podcast, that is. Welcome this afternoon. You know, today's such a surprise. The girl worked her first job. The second job got something going on where there's a water main break. So I'm off. Perfect, because I'm tired. I'm going to do this episode and I'm going to take a nap and I'm going to act like my children do not exist because they are not here. And then I'm going to get them from the sitter. But anywho, hope your Wednesday is going great. Listen, this new schedule I got, waking up at 5 a.m., getting home at 10:30, and going to sleep at midnight, is kicking my ass. It's kicking my ass, okay? I am tired. I'm so tired. But we are here. Welcome back. So happy that you guys are listening. I appreciate all the listeners. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the messages. And please share it with people who have kids, share it with people who are thinking about kids, share it with people who deal with people who have kids, because I think once everybody knows and acknowledges certain things, then we all will be better off. Okay? So this episode is about hollering ass kids. You heard me. And you heard them in the stores, you heard them in the restaurants, you heard them in public places of amusement, you've heard them in parks, you've heard them in grocery stores. But you've heard them and you've seen it. And I apologize for the parents who haven't apologized. Because a lot of people who do not have kids hate them in public. That was me before I had kids. I used to have this saying where I would be out with one of my friends and I hear like a baby in a restaurant just going ham with the lungs. And I'm just like, kill the baby. Not like go ahead and kill it, but just come on. Like, who takes a baby to a restaurant when they can't help it but do that? Like, I have never taken Ari to a restaurant setting yet to have her sit there and do baby shit, like crying because they're hungry. And I haven't taken Anya into a restaurant setting where she just acted a whole fool. So I don't understand why parents, take their kids to things like that. Also, movie theaters. Why do you take your kids to movies? You know what I'm saying? If they can't handle being quiet, don't take them to movies that are for adults, not kids. Don't take them to busy stores if you can wait until you don't have them or somebody else can watch them. Don't take them to important gatherings for long periods of time, like graduations, conventions, or sit in front row of shit when you have a baby that will probably need to be in the bathroom, wherever, or walking around because they can't sit for so long. Like, be very, considerate to those of us who do not have kids or who want to enjoy what they schedule time in their day to watch or hear or listen to. Like, come on. We all know if our kids are bad asses. Okay. Now, I don't think I have bad kids, but I will say Ari, she's 10 months, but she knows what she's doing when she does it. Like, I took her to Walgreens the other day, and she was taking the candy off of the counter because my hands were full, so I put it on the counter to sit. She taking the candy off of the counter, Anya putting it back, and I'm putting it back. And she hit her hand to us, and then once we both took that candy from her, she just threw herself back on the counter. I'm talking about laid out on the counter, throwing herself back when she can't get her way, screaming. And then when you do give her something to stop her from screaming that she wanted, she's still screaming when she got the thing. So it's all about knowing your children, knowing where to take them, knowing what not to do, because you know they have a tendency to act a fool. Screaming, looking me in the face, and then hitting me. Like, the girl be knowing what she doing. You know, Ari's dad has a temper. I have a temper. And together, it's a horrible combination. And I'm going to hate it when she's older, because I'm going to know it's my doing. And he's going to know it's his doing. Anya, not so much. Anya is a scaredy cat. I can give Anya a good stare down and she be straight. But, you know, the focus on this episode is knowing who has to deal with your unruly kids, knowing who does and doesn't discipline their kids, who has a right to discipline your kids, do your kids embarrass you in public, and just acknowledging stuff like that. And can we please talk about the pre-store talks? Because I have pre-store talks with Anya. The pre-store talk is an acknowledgement that these hands are attached to me, and with these hands I have a brain, and I will give you these hands. Do not touch nothing. If you make a scene, I promise you'll regret it. Do not ask me for anything and sit in the cart. These are the pre-store talk rundowns. I do it with Anya. I let her know. Sometimes she'll be in the store and she'll be like, Mom, I want that. And then her brain will connect with what I just said in the car 10 minutes ago. And she'll be like, but no, Anya, you're not getting it because you don't need it. You have toys at home. I say, yes, Anya, you better answer yourself. You better know what's up. Okay? Because I don't have no time for it. Also, you know, talking to Anya, in public and telling her no, she tends to act a fool. Sometimes, okay? Sometimes she tends to act a fool. We were in the library last month, and they have computers for kids and they have computers for adults. So we never really go on the computers. I usually plan to take them to the library on Sundays or Fridays, and we pick out books to read throughout the week. And then I get me like an audiobook to have in the car for myself. And then we check them out and we bounce. So we were just straggling along, going through the library. And then she sees like a few kids on computers playing games. So she was like, she wants to go on the computer. So I try to log in on the computer, and you need like a special password. So she needs a password, but the lady gives me a temporary one. So we on there, and it's just regular like computer internet games. We're on there, she's doing this game, and then I have Arya with me, and you know, Arya really doesn't sit still anymore, so I'm like, a good 10-12 minutes, okay, now we can go. Anya ain't ready. No, she doesn't want to go. I said, well, Anya, we can't stay because Ari wants to get down and crawl around, and she's not about to crawl around in this library. We have books, so we need to go home. No, she doesn't want to go. So I'm like, okay, cool. I shut down the computer. I get up. This girl is screaming, crying in the library. So I grab her by the hand. I get Ari, get the stroller, pushing it out, get to the car, put Ari in, get to the other side. And these hands went ham. These hands turned into pork. Yeah. I let her have it because, first of all, if I tell you it's time for us to go, it's time for us to go. I don't need to hear you. I don't want to hear you scream. I don't want to see you scream. And that's not what you do when you don't get your way. So when you go home, you're going to get some more of these hands. You're not going to have your tablet, and you're going to go to your room and have a nice nap. You're welcome. And I quietly shut my door, got in my front seat, went ahead and did the rest of my errands, went home, She went into her room. She didn't have her tablet for about 4 days. But you just have to show kids what's not acceptable. And I promise you, when you show your child what's not acceptable, or your nephew, or your niece, or your little cousin, they will come correct. Because the thing is, I never threw a tantrum out with my mom when I was younger. My brother never did it. My older brothers, I don't know. Wasn't around, I don't know. But, that was never a thing. But then again, my mother never disciplined any of us. We never got whoopings from my mom. My mom never believed in it, which is rare because she's Jamaican. Usually Jamaicans hit you with anything and everything. Her parents, her mom, believed in, this one, she had 13 brothers and sisters. This one does something, so everybody's getting a whooping because they should have made sure this one didn't do what they did. So her growing up like that all the time and always, being in trouble for somebody else's stuff, she just completely did not discipline us. So it was a house of chaos most times where my brothers and I would be just fighting. I'm talking about fighting to like somebody has blood, somebody goes and chill out, and then a few hours later we all sitting on the couch like it's regular. And that was regular in my house. But, my kids don't pay no bills in here. And ain't nobody about to be fighting like that for discipline. And I have no problem using a belt, using a paddle brush, using my hands, even though hitting with your hands starts hurting after a while. But I just need Anya and Ari to know that I'm not with it. I'm not with the sheets. No, not with sheets. No. So, disciplining kids is important. Who gets to discipline my kids? I allow Ari's granny to do it because, she's an older lady and you should respect your elders. I allow Jason to do it because, as, parent, and, he treats both of them the same, and you have to be able to let the child know you're not for the shits. And it's important for kids to know their limits before they're out in the world and they're just doing whatever, thinking nothing can happen to them. I tell my cousins when I drop Anya off sometimes, go ahead and discipline her like your own kids, because I don't want her to think that there's some type of favoritism or there's some type of, oh, you can't touch me because you're not my mom or whoever, when that's not the case. It's an adult. They're watching you. They love you. And you have to show them respect, and you can't act a fool. And that needs to be known. Kids need that. Anya has this thing about, if she doesn't get her way, or I don't buy her what she wants, or I don't take her to catch an air, an indoor play place she likes, that, oh, you're not my best friend, Mom. I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm not trying to be your best friend. I'm your mom. Or she'd be like, oh, she doesn't love you. I'm just like, okay. Yes, Anya talks in third person. That's her thing. Or she'd be like, Ma, don't talk to her. That means she don't want me to talk to her anymore. Girl, when I tell you this morning she tried it, when I told her that she couldn't take her sticker book to Granny's today, she got irritated and she was like, Ma, don't talk to her. When I tell you, I quietly walked over into my kitchen and I put my thumb and my index finger on the sides of her face. And I smushed it close and I said, hey, watch your mouth. You're trying it. Don't push it. The tears was falling. She lucky I didn't whoop her. Like, you're not about to tell me don't talk to you when I'm telling you something. I'm not your friend. I'm not your size. And I'm not your age. Come again. Do not let these kids run over on you. You know what I'm saying? Belts save lives. a lot of these kids in school acting a fool, bullying other kids, or thinking they have a right to talk to teachers a certain way, or any type of authority a certain way, never got a good belt, never got no hands, never got a paddle brush, never felt a slipper, not only on their feet. Okay? You have to give it to them. And parents, please practice your discipline stares. It's hard. Like, I promise you. Sometimes, Anya will do some things that are hilarious, catch me off guard, and it make me chuckle a little bit. But at the same time, it might be something rude that she's doing that I don't want her to do to somebody else. Make sure your stare is effective. Go in the mirror and practice that brow. That serious brow, you gotta practice that thing. No blinking, no smiling, keep your voice the same, consistent. I mean, kids look for that. Kids look for, oh, she just playing, she ain't really serious. No, be serious with that stare down. Give them that stare down so you don't have to use those hands. That stare down can save time. That stare down can save energy from you whooping them. That stare down can save you, the fact that you ain't got to pull over 4 lanes to the right to pull over to open that back door and get them. That stare down saves, okay? So practice it, My favorite get it go-tos are paddle brushes, black leathers, aka belts, grabbing the sides of her mouth, slippers, When my mom was living with me, Anya never really got whoopings because my mom was so against it. No, don't hit her. She's okay. No, come here, Anya. And stuff like that lets Anya feel like she can do it because she can get away with it. But guess what? Grandma ain't here. You can go see Grandma in Florida, but she ain't here now. And you're going to get in trouble. And certain things you can't say. And I'm not nobody to be arguing with a 4-year-old. I'm not going to do it. Scratch that. I'm not arguing with no one that's not sharing my bills in my house. Nobody. Because it doesn't make sense. Set the expectations with your children and they will act accordingly. Because you run it. You brought them into the world. You have to shape them to be better human beings when you're not around. From when they're children to adults. And when they're adults, you don't want them doing nothing that's going to embarrass you, so you better train them now. It's important. Like, I'm really tired of seeing news alerts about, what child was fighting a teacher today, or what child was bullying a student today while they're trying to learn in class, or what child committed suicide because, they didn't love themselves or know that they were worth it. And they let someone from the outside of them get into their heads and convince them that they weren't worth it. And they took their life. Like, there's kids out here not making it to 10 years of age because they're taking their life over not feeling worth it. And I feel like all of that starts with how you're raised in your home. All of that starts with how you parent your children. All of that starts with what your parents say to you and do not say to you. What your parents do for you and do not do for you. And we have to be better parents out here, better uncles out here, better aunties out here. Like, when I tell you my nephews now, I want to say the youngest one is 12. When I go to my brother's house, I don't really get to see them a lot because of my schedule, but, I talk to him. He's usually on the game, but, I try to figure out what he's into. I tell him I love him. My oldest nephew, I talk to him, Snapchat, IG, whatever. He asks me questions most times and, I answer him and I'm very honest. A lot of things that they tell me I keep between us unless it's something like life or death, I'll share it with their parents, but I keep it between us because that's important that kids feel like they can trust someone adult-wise that really care about them. And I just keep that open communication. And I tell them all the time, you can tell me anything. And, I'm not about to let none of my nephews just be out here in the world doing crazy things and thinking it's all cool, it's all G. And I'm not about to let any of my nieces do that either. And there's nothing between, oh, he's a boy or he's a girl. I don't believe in that shit. Respect is respect. You treat people with respect because people will always remember how you treat people over a name, over what you wearing, over what you driving, over anything. They remember your mannerisms first. So we have to, raise better kids out here. And it starts with the beginning of these Hollerin Ass Kids. Shouts out to Black Love Matters. Nira and Naomi giving me the idea for, let's talk about these badass kids that be in these stores acting a whole fool and what that says about their parents and their upbringing and what they're doing in the home where they feel comfortable enough to do that. And if your child is acting a fool, I guarantee you whatever you have in that cart, whatever you have up on that counter, whatever you're trying to buy, whatever sale you're trying to get into at that moment is not important. Your child is important before any material thing. And if you can't get your child under control, then you need not to be in the store. I wish upon a star that Anya or Ari would be acting a fool in line and I'm just standing there allowing everybody to endure that shit. That shit is selfish. Don't do it. If your child is acting a fool, attend to that child. Once you get that child correct, please, by all means, continue. But people in public are not, forced to listen to your child's shit. They're not. So get your children under control. I have to get my children under control at times. You need to get your children under control. Talk to your kids. They're little human beings that grow up into adults. And if you don't really keep that open communication fluid and start the lines of respect early, they're going to grow up and be disrespectful. And that's going to snowball into other issues. So is it important that we attend to these kids? By all means, by all hands, by all belts, by all brushes, by all slippers. Attend to these Hollerin Ass Kids, please. It's important. Okay? Address these tantrums. And understand who has a right to discipline your kids and why. And by all means, I'm not saying strangers should ever put their hands on anyone's kids. Don't do it. You might lose a hand. I promise you. Don't do it. Don't put your hands on nobody else's kids. But let me say this. If your child, your little human, puts their hand on any of my kids, then all hands is on deck, okay? I promise you. So, people, I just want to, set the record straight on raising better kids, being better adults, being better parents out here. It's important, and it starts early, and we have to set the expectations high so these kids that are in school trying to learn can learn. These teens that are at parties know how to conduct themselves with other teens and other adults. And teach your children how to respect authority and know their rights with authority also, because I think that's overlooked a lot. And we shouldn't have to talk about that when issues come up that involve that. That should already be talked about. That's important. And college kids don't know it all. And I think the more we share our experiences, the better off they'll be. So always be willing to share ideas, stories, or whatever that you had when you were in school, because you just don't know what child or what teen or what young adult you're helping. You know, they need our help. They need our guidance. You've seen them on TV. You've seen what they're wearing. You've seen what they're saying. And you've heard these horrible songs, okay? They need our help. And it starts with these hands. Please, lay these hands on the children. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. Shout out to all my listeners. I appreciate you. It's all gravy, baby. You can hit me up on Twitter, Cozy Womb, cozywoom@gmail.com. You can hear this on SoundCloud, iTunes, Anchor. I'll try to do a YouTube update. It's a process, okay? But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get this nap. I got about 3.5 hours that I can take a nap for. And then I'm going to get back in mom mode and act like I got some kids. Okay. But thank you for listening. Peace. Deuces. Be great out here. Till next time.
A time of quiet reflection and inspired renewal awaits this winter at Biltmore. Now is the time to experience the grace and grandeur of America's largest home in a more personal and intimate way. A time to bundle up and explore 8,000 majestic acres of Blue Ridge mountain beauty and wander this magnificent estate as if it were your own private winter refuge. Or simply relax beside the fireplace, sip a warm beverage, and contemplate the possibilities for the year to come. It's the time to linger, dine, and indulge with locally sourced seasonal cuisine and award-winning wines. Then imagine yourself a guest of the Vanderbilts with a stay at one of our overnight properties. Come and enjoy our most peaceful season of the year and experience the restorative tranquility of winter at Biltmore. Plan your visit at Biltmore.com.